We have all caught ourselves reacting impulsively, saying things we regret, or chasing goals that deep down leave us empty and wanting even more. What's driving these behaviors is something we all carry within us, the ego. In this video, we're diving into what the ego is, how it subtly influences our lives, and most importantly, how you can break free from its grip to discover inner peace. This journey will not be easy, but it's a path worth pursuing to avoid retrospective regret and guilt. The ego isn't just about arrogance or self-importance. It's a subtle, powerful force that shapes our thoughts, emotions, and actions. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle describes the ego as the voice in your head that falsely identifies itself as you, shaped by your upbringing, societal expectations, and past experiences. While the ego can serve as a survival mechanism, if left unchecked, it can take over your life and steal what is truly important in your life. Let's break down some common ways the ego shows up in our daily lives. The defensive ego. Think of this as your false protector. It fiercely defends your identity, even if it means damaging relationships you hold dear. This ego thrives on arguments and clings to the illusion of winning, often at the cost of empathy and meaningful dialogue. If left unchecked, it can make you react impulsively, leaving you regretting actions that don't align with your true self. Next, the competitive ego. This ego feeds off comparisons, pushing you to prove your worth by outshining others. It's the root of jealousy and envy, often derailing you from your true path by chasing what others have. This ego might convince you to make impulsive purchases, a flashy car or a house beyond your means, to boost your social status. But what feels like a win in the moment can be deeply destructive, both to you and those around you. This is further compounded by the fleeting nature of the pursuits this ego drives you toward. Finally, the victim ego. This ego stunts your growth by shifting the blame to external circumstances, which psychologists refer to as an external locus of control. The belief that you are controlled by factors outside of your influence. It thrives on self-pity, convincing you that life is happening to you, not for you. This mindset can stir up anger, trapping you in the past and blocking your path to healing. If left unchecked, the victim ego keeps you fixated on getting justice for perceived wrongs, derailing your progress toward a fulfilling life. Much like the other types of ego, this mindset can be deeply destructive, not only to yourself, but also to those around you. Which of these types do you recognize in yourself that dominates your life? It may be uncomfortable to reflect on this, especially if it's your first time considering how the ego influences your actions and thoughts. But remember, awareness is the first step to breaking free from its elusive traps. Here is a crucial truth to hold on to. You are not your ego. Your thoughts do not define you. The ego is a construct, a mask we wear, often unconsciously, to fit into societal norms or protect ourselves from perceived threats. But inner peace comes when you can observe these thoughts without judgment, detach from them, and realize they're not the real you. Imagine returning to the innocence and curiosity of your inner child, embracing life with grace and openness when checking your ego. Do not fight the ego and judge it, as it will hold on tighter and cause inner turmoil in your mind. Learn to observe, reserve any actions, and be in the present moment to relinquish the evils the ego brings with it. Now that we've covered a surface-level understanding of ego, its types, and how it influences our lives, let's dive into some practical strategies to manage it. These techniques won't just benefit you personally, they can spark a ripple effect, encouraging those around you to reflect on how the ego impacts their lives too. Mindful observation. The next time a strong emotion or thought arises, pause and observe it without reacting. Simply ask yourself, is this my ego speaking? This small pause can create a powerful gap between you and your thoughts. It takes practice, but it's especially useful in conversations where the ego craves being right. Remember, being right isn't always what matters. Sometimes truly listening without judgment is the key to deeper connections. Humility is the key here to let go on defending your position or proving you are right. Practice active listening and be open to other perspectives. You can discuss different perspectives in conversation without defending your position as the blinding driving force. One thing to keep in mind as you practice this is, being humble doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. it means thinking of yourself less. Next, gratitude journaling. Build a consistent habit of noting down what you're truly grateful for, beyond material possessions or your self-image. These fleeting external markers of happiness can easily crumble, leaving your ego scrambling to find replacements. Instead, focus on appreciating the deeper, lasting joys, like meaningful connections and personal growth. Finally, meditation and breathwork. The ego thrives on dwelling in the past or worrying about the future, but it suffocates when you anchor yourself in the present moment, dissolving its power. Regular meditation and breathwork help center your mind, allowing you to connect with deeper meaning and fulfillment beyond the superficial desires that the ego often chases. By practicing mindfulness, you create space to observe your thoughts without attachment, gaining clarity on what truly matters. This practice not only grounds you in the present, but also liberates you from the time-wasting traps of living in the past or fearing the future. The ego often leads to retrospective guilt, as you may look back on life realizing you chased pursuits that were ultimately meaningless. It can rob you of your true self, overshadowed by its own self-importance. But by practicing mindfulness and the strategies we discussed, you can reclaim your inner peace and authenticity. Try incorporating these practices into your daily routine. Remember, each step you take not only frees you, but also inspires others on their journey towards self-awareness and enlightenment. Many ancient teachings from both Eastern and Western traditions, including those from Buddhism and Stoic philosophy, warn that a life led by the ego is one of constant dissatisfaction. But when we learn to quiet our ego, we unlock a deeper understanding of our true selves. This journey toward self-awareness and inner peace is not just enriching, it's truly life-changing. Remember, managing your ego and finding inner peace is not a one-time fix. It's a lifelong journey. Each small step counts, so don't let the ego convince you otherwise. Cultivate a daily practice of observing your thoughts, detaching from their grip, and embracing the present moment. You'll be amazed at how much lighter and more joyful life becomes. I hope this video resonated with you, and to dive deeper into understanding the ego, I highly recommend Eckhart Tolle's books, The Power of Now and A New Earth. They've been transformative in my journey, and I believe they can be for you too. Thank you for listening. Remember, real growth comes from taking action. Let's support each other on this journey to self-awareness and inner peace.